Welcome to the podcast, folks. Today, we're diving into Ethereum's upcoming upgrades and proposals for 2024. Vitalik Buterin's roadmap has set the stage with a laser focus on efficiency and scalability.
Absolutely, and it's interesting to see how Ethereum is evolving after the shift to proof of stake. What stands out to you from the roadmap?
Well, one of the key highlights is the emphasis on single slot finality to strengthen the network in this post-merge world. It's focused on resolving some POS design weaknesses, ensuring that the blocks are truly permanent without burning a big chunk of staked ether.
Yep, that's pretty significant. By the way, did you notice how the improvement proposals for 2024 are really honing in on making L2 solutions more cost-effective?
Absolutely. And speaking of cost effectiveness, EIP 4844 is at the forefront. This one was implemented back in March 2024 as part of the Denkun update, and it's revolutionizing transaction fees for layer 2
That's a
networks.
game changer.
It does this by introducing stored blobs of data instead of permanent call data.
Right? And using these binary large objects, or blobs, means the cost of transactions on networks like Optimism and Arbitrum has dropped drastically. I mean, we're talking from almost $1 down to virtually negligible amounts.
Exactly. It's like transforming an expensive operation into a super cheap one. It's almost like renovating an old building with modern materials that not only look good, but last longer too.
For sure, and that kind of upgrade is fundamental in making Ethereum more accessible for developers and users alike.
Moving on, EIP 1153 is another interesting piece. This proposal tackles the hefty cost of permanent data storage on-chain by coupling it with temporary transient data storage. Think of it like using a scratch pad instead of a permanent ledger for momentary notes.
That's a great analogy. It's like the difference between that old burdensome binders you store forever versus handy sticky notes that vanish after they've served their purpose.
Yep. And by doing so, it not only cuts costs, but also boosts speed since smart contracts no longer need to retrieve and store data permanently. It's kind of like temporary RAM in computers used for smooth operations.
I see, so it gives smart contracts an agility boost while slashing gas fees. But I wonder, does this approach have any trade-offs in terms of security or permanency of data?
That's a fair question. The idea is that only transient data, which isn't critical for long-term records, is stored temporarily. This minimizes risk because important data remains in the permanent blockchain state.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But of course, it requires developers to be careful about what they designate as transient.
That's where careful design becomes essential, and it's exciting to see the potential this opens up.
Next up, EIP 4788 is like upgrading the backend communication within Ethereum. Previously, smart contracts relied on traditional engine APIs to interact with the beacon chain. Now, with the addition of a beacon block root in execution blocks, it's almost like switching from an analog system to a real-time digital index.
That reminds me of the library upgrade analogy, going from a dusty card catalog to a blazing fast digital search engine.
Exactly, and it makes bridging and staking services way more efficient by giving immediate insights into the network's state.
It's amazing how these small tweaks can have such huge ripple effects on the overall performance and reliability of the network.
Then there's EIP 5656, which introduces the new opcode called MQP. This one's all about streamlining memory copy operations in smart contracts, reducing gas costs, and making things work faster.
Right, like having a more efficient
It
filing
optimizes
system.
the internal operations, which is a big win for developers dealing with complex data.
Yeah, copy, paste, and optimize. It almost sounds like a developer's dream, doesn't it?
Definitely. And then EIP 6782 offers a fascinating twist on the self-destruct opcode used in Ethereum contracts. Previously, code deletion could lead to chaotic states on the blockchain with orphaned data. Now, under EIP 6782, even after a self-destruct operation, the contract remains visible on-chain, just its functionality is disabled.
That sounds a bit like a controlled demolition. The building's skeleton remains, but the function is no longer there.
Exactly. It's like cleaning up after a renovation instead of demolishing the whole structure. This approach not only cleans up the state, but keeps the contract's trail for audit and security purposes.
But isn't there a risk that this residual code might clutter the chain over time? I mean, could it lead to other inefficiencies?
That's a valid critique. The intention is to improve data management and scalability. Yet, if not managed properly, it might lead to bloat. However, the consensus seems to be that a cleaner, more stable system outweighs the potential for minor clutter.
Right, that balance is key. Agreed. Now, the last proposal, EIP 6900, is really intriguing with its concept of modular smart contract accounts.
Absolutely. EIP 6900 builds on ERC 4337 by introducing a plugin system that modularizes account features. It's essentially like organizing a toolbox, where each compartment holds a specific tool for tasks like session keys and spending limits.
It really sounds like a smart solution for tailoring user experiences, customizable, secure, and well organized.
Precisely. And this modular design not only enables developers to utilize pre-built plugins, but also fosters innovation by letting new functionalities be added as plugins seamlessly. It's like a Lego set for smart contract
Yeah, exactly,
features.
a modular Lego set. That level of flexibility is bound to usher in a wave of creative applications on Ethereum. It unlocks potential ways for both users and developers to interact with smart accounts.
To wrap it all up, these proposals reflect Ethereum's overarching drive towards making the network more scalable, efficient, and developer-friendly. They tackle everything from transaction fee reductions to memory optimizations and enhanced data management.
And it looks like the upcoming changes are not just about bandwidth or speed. They're about rethinking the entire architecture, ensuring Ethereum stays competitive and robust for the financial mainstream and decentralized applications alike.
Exactly. It's like they are tuning up an engine to deliver not just speed, but also endurance and reliability. Always something to be excited about when you see such comprehensive improvements in action.
Definitely. While I'm impressed with the roadmap and these EIPs, do you think there might be challenges in their implementation, given the complexity of some upgrades like dank sharding?
Oh, for sure, there will always be technical and logistical challenges. It's like trying to rewrite the blueprint of a very sprawling skyscraper in mid construction. But historically, Ethereum's community has been remarkably resilient and innovative when tackling such hurdles.
That's true. The community's track record speaks volumes, and so does the collaborative open source ethos of Ethereum.
And while some may argue that certain EIPs might introduce risks of increased bloat or complexity, it's really about weighing those risks against the benefits, like drastically lowered fees and more efficient smart contracts.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, and honestly, every new feature carries a bit of uncertainty, but the potential improvements are too significant to ignore.
Exactly, it's like a calculated evolution, a series of measured steps towards a more robust, scalable future for Ethereum. The proposals, especially EIP 4844 and EIP 6900, are fundamental building blocks for that future.
It really is fascinating stuff. As these EIPs roll out and get fine-tuned, it'll be amazing to witness how they shape the next era of Ethereum applications and solutions.
Absolutely, and keeping an eye on how these changes impact both developer operations and user experiences will be key. It's an exciting time to be part of this space.
No doubt about it. I'm looking forward to the waves these proposals create in lowering costs, boosting performance, and ultimately fostering more innovation on the network.
And with that, we'll keep our ears to the ground as Ethereum continues to innovate. Thanks for the great conversation today.
Thanks for breaking it all down. Can't wait to see what comes next and discuss more in the future.